There is a growing concern over a substance called Kratom being sold at gas stations, vape shops, all over the internet. You can find it. Oswego County actually looking at making it harder for kids to get their hands on this unregulated powder. Joining me now, Oswego County lawmaker Gena Bartlett. Gena, good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Kratom.
Yeah, this may be a new one for a lot of parents. I mean, what is Kratom and what's the concern with it right now?
Well, Kratom is a plant-derived substance sold as a supplement in forms of powders, capsules, gummies, and drinks. While some adults use it for pain relief and other purposes, there are concerns about dependence, inconsistent potency, contamination, and other health risks. Because it is widely available and often marketed in a feeling packaging, there is also concerns that young people can access it without fully understanding the risk.
Yeah, how easy is it to get right now, would you say? Could I walk into almost any gas station? Certainly everything's available on the internet, so there's that, but could I walk into a gas station in a lot of places and find it?
Right now, it's relatively easy to purchase. As you said before, it's sold in some vape shops, food shops, convenience stores, and other retailers online. That accessibility is one of the reasons we're discussing whether additional local safeguards are necessary.
Yeah, so the governor in December signed a law to require at least warning labels and to prohibit sales to anyone under 21. But you are looking to put forward legislation to make it even harder to get in Oswego County. What are you looking at doing there?
Our priority is making sure new law is properly enforced. That includes additional measures of keeping Kratom behind the counter, enforcing the minimum age of 21, and prohibiting sales within 500 feet of schools. Before considering any additional local legislation, we want to hear directly from the public. That's why we're holding a community discussion to discuss whether residents believe further action is necessary.
How did you decide to try and get this law passed in Oswego County? Was there something that happened in particular, or was it just a lot of things seemed to be kind of building and there was I don't want to call it a momentum necessarily, but you know what I mean? Was there one particular or two particular things, or just as stuff built here?
I think it's just a lot of stuff that's building. Before becoming a legislator, I worked as a credentialed alcoholism and substance abuse counselor for CASAC. Helping people struggle with addiction was my career. And when I was elected for this year, I saw an opportunity to continue to work through prevention and public policy. Early in my term, I shared my interest in substance use prevention with our director of health. She invited me to participate in a public safety discussion on Kratom. At first, I wasn't sure how much of an impact I could have as a legislator, but the more I learned, the more I realized I could help by educating my colleagues on Kratom, its risks, and other concerns that communities are facing.
Yeah. What would be Judy, sorry to cut you off. What would the penalties be? So you kind of told me how Oswego County would further what the state already has in place and making it harder, again, for kids to get. What would the penalties be in Oswego County, and who now takes over enforcement, I guess, of this law? If it were to pass, maybe kind of jumping a few steps ahead, but.
Well, the current proposal would establish civil fines for violations as outlined in the draft legislation. Enforcement would be handled by the appropriate county and local agencies responsible for enforcing public health and local laws. The goal is education, compliance, and accountability, not punishment for its own sake.
Gotcha. How much, though, are you balancing making it harder for kids to get with still allowing adults to legally buy this product? I mean, yes, it's unregulated, but it is still legal if you're 21 and over. So how do you kind of walk that balance?
That's exactly the balance we're trying to achieve. Adults should be able to make informed decisions, but also we need to have a responsibility to reduce the youth access to products that may pose health risks. This is about making sure that the products are sold responsibly, kept out of the hands of minors, and regulated in a way to in a way that reflects our community expectations. That's why the public input is so important before any final decision is made.
Yeah, so before we let you go for sure, you mentioned the public hearing on this legislation. When is that? Is it, I think, maybe in September sometime? Walk me through kind of what the process here legislatively.
Well, public discussion will be held on September 10th at 7 p.m. at the local Oswego County Legislative Building. We encourage residents, healthcare professionals, parents, business owners, and anyone interested in attending, ask questions and share their perspective before any legislation is considered.
Okay. And then after that, what's the next step after that?
For that, we bring it again to legislation and make a decision.
Okay. Well, keep me up to date, Gena. I really appreciate this chat here.
Thank you. And have a great day.
You too.
Download the WSYR Plus app on your TV to stream News Channel 9 for free. Just go to your smart TV, search WSYR Plus in the App Store, and download to start streaming today.